begin?
So what we did was we collected bacteria from classrooms, door handles, and common places, and then we just started growing the bacteria so we can find out which had the most. Yes. And we found out that the front desk had 55% of bacteria growing inside the petri dish.
Yeah, we did 8 samples, 2 from the elementary side, 2 from the middle school side, and 2 from the high school side, and finally 2 on common places, the high school bathrooms, and the foam from the front desk. We use agar to grow the bacteria. Nutrient agar around 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me about your literature review? What background did you need to do do this experiment? What are some of the things you had to research?
So for the first paragraph, we just put basic information about it, and the second one was about what is bacteria, and the third one, we put common places where it can be found.
Tell me more about the first 2 paragraphs, please.
The first paragraph is pretty much summarizes how bacteria reproduces through binary fission. The DNA replicates, and through cytokinesis, the bacteria reproduce. That's pretty much the concept of the first paragraph.
Okay. What else did you research in your literature review to get prepped for this?
We found out that there's a lot of type of bacteria that grow on different types of environments, especially in temperature-wise. For example, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but psychrophiles, they grow on cold temperatures. Mesophiles grow on moderate temperatures, and thermophiles grow on high temperatures, around 45 to 75.
So did you guys identify the bacteria once you got it, once you were able to get it in the petri dishes? And what do you think your bacteria was regarding those 3 types of bacteria? What do you think you probably grew in your petri dishes?
Honestly, we didn't really define it, but we took samples with the what's it called?
Digital camera?
And we found out that they could have been mesophiles.
Yeah.
Because they grew the temperature was around 20-25 degrees.
Yeah, and it was room temperature plus a little warmer for your agar, so I totally agree with that. Talk to me more about the procedure. So what are some of the first things you had to do to set your experiment up?
Oh, the first part was basically getting the materials and setting up the greenhouse so we can grow the bacteria. Then we, at first we got agar, right? And we boiled it with the boiler, and then we put it in the petri dishes, and we leave it to cool, and then that's when we start collecting the bacteria. We get swabs and a plastic bag. So after we swab it, we put it in the bag and zip it up, and we labeled each bag, and we made a key for the petri dishes and the swab, so we know which one's which. So after that, we just left it there to grow for a couple of days, and after each day you could see bacteria appearing where we swabbed it, and then it started getting a little yellowish, and then after we came back from the weekend, we could really see the bacteria.
And what was your original hypothesis, Jesse? Where did you think the most? If you could just tell me what your percentage or what you thought was going to be the dirtiest areas.
So we thought that it was going to be the little kid side, the elementary school side, but it kind of turned out that it was the cleanest.
Comparatively?
Yeah.
So what was the dirtiest?
It was the classroom's dirtiest was...
No, from the classrooms?
It was Miss Adams.
Yeah,
but
was elementary side.
Well, but one of them was Miss Faye's, and she's a kindergarten teacher, and it was one of the cleanest.
Yeah. Big time. So what was your original hypothesis, if you guys could state that for me?
Okay. If bacteria is collected from the elementary school side, the largest amount of bacteria will be found because kids tend not to properly wash their hands while they go to the bathroom.
And actually, you proved your own hypothesis wrong, because what we've discovered is it's actually adults that don't seem to be washing their hands the best, or as you stated prior, something with the cleaning? You think it might be actually more about the janitorial issue?
Yeah.
Awesome. What were some of the understandings or new ahas, if you can give me 2 or 3, that you took from doing this project that you didn't know before?
Well, an aha that I thought of was like places that we really didn't think about cleaning is probably the dirtiest. Like I never thought that the front desk, the phone would be actually dirtiest, but after I thought about it, it kind of makes sense because like everyone uses it and they don't clean it as often as.
Oh, so this wasn't Arlene's phone. This was the front desk here
Yeah.
at the high school that all the students use.
Yeah.
Wow. Good. Yeah, that's very true. Anything for you, Jorge, that you got from?
Yeah, first I was a little impressed that the front phone desk, everybody uses it. It had the most bacteria, 55% bacteria growth. But then I realized that I've never seen the janitors clean up the phones or even yeah.
Yeah. So what are some future research or communications you could do with your data? What could you do with this evidence that you guys found?
Well, we could advise the janitors in our community to make sure to clean all the areas, not just the classrooms, but everything that, like the public uses, like the phone because they have the most bacteria. Also the high school. Well, they do clean the high school bathrooms a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it was the handle that you guys cleaned.
Yeah. That
So
would
it sounds like there's some specific areas that aren't getting cleaned, then you guys were able to find that research. If you were to do, if you had a full year and as much money as you wanted and the finest laboratory, and I said, take this experiment and redo it with an unlimited budget and unlimited time, what would you change or do differently?
I guess the first part that we might have done wrong was that we swabbed it like almost around like 5 o'clock, so I'm not sure if they cleaned the handles already. So one thing that we could do is find a time where they're not going to clean yet and then get it during that time.
Okay,
So it's more accurate.
got it?
Also, I feel like if we have like a limited budget, I would change the greenhouse because it seems so like exposed to the environment. Like I don't know, maybe like
a real incubator? Yeah,
like
yeah.
glass around to keep the constant temperature and everything.
I think that's really good, and if we did have that extra $2,000, trust me, I would have one, because I think bacteria growth is really a cool addition that we did this year. Were there any other areas you guys wanted to test that you didn't get a chance to swab, or based on your results that you would go back and redo and check about here in the school? Like, would you do all the school areas? Are there areas that now that you see this results, it motivates you to want to know more?
I would want to swab the other phone too, like to compare which one, and like classrooms too. I guess we'll swab all the classrooms and like the cabinets that you open.
Yep.
'Cause I don't think they clean that.
So handles, definitely handles.
Yeah.
What else, Mr. Kamada?
I think it would be so we determined that the front desk phone was the dirtiest. Maybe also make a little test on the adults in the Lighthouse community.
Yeah.
Like for example, the staff room, supposedly no students are allowed to go in there. We could measure that everything around it and see if they're really the dirtiest.
Yeah, I'm thinking, and the playground would be one that I would be interested,
Yeah.
as well as the PE. The PE equipment, I'd be interested to see that. I find it really interesting that the younger kids' rooms were cleaner. I think that's really an interesting piece of data that I think you guys could communicate. What would you connect this to? I mean, are either of you interested in taking this kind of research any further? Or what would you connect this to for industry, for future, I mean, anything? What would you connect your experiment to?
Well, we could help. We didn't do this, but we could also extend our research and find out what bacteria we were being exposed to, and then we could also tell the janitors at the school to find the most efficient bacteria killing soap to kill them. And, yeah.
Well, and again, with having unlimited resources, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys did really well with learning what you did. Talk to me, last but not least, about your data trends in your graph, if you could.
Oh, the graph, it was just
Is that representing
the percentages.
percentages?
Yeah, at the end.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. You have your works cited, I noticed, on the board, correct?
Yeah.
And then can I see just one of you guys did the notebook with the data